Hello students, this is lesson 7 for the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variations. So as you know, we are discussing about the inheritance pattern and the causes of variations in this chapter. And there we first started with the Mendelian laws, which Mendel proved with his experiment on the sweet pea plant. On that, he made several types of crosses, and some of the most important crosses were the monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, test cross, back cross, etc. Then came the post-Mendelian inheritance, where many scientists, after the Mendel's work, they tried the same experiment on different plants, but there some different outcomes were found, such as the law of incomplete dominance, co-dominance, lethal factor, etc. Now we are going into a different part of this chapter where it discusses about the chromosomes, and let's see how these chromosomes, they have the relation with the Mendelian factors that Mendel discussed with his experiment, and that we named them as the alleles, which were written as capital T, small t, etc. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about the chromosomal theory of inheritance. As you know, that nucleus, it was first described by a botanist named Robert Brown in the year 1831. But the actual function of the nucleus, it was first, or it came into study majorly from the year 1884, when Hofmeister first expressed his view that the nucleus may contain thread-like bodies. Then came William Fleming. For the first time, he coined the term chromatin, and that it indicates the stainable threads that were present inside the nucleus. And finally came Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in 1902, and they suggested that such chromatin traits were the bearers of hereditary characters. But earlier to that, in 1888, Valdier observed and coined the term chromosome for such nuclear traits. Then Sutton and Boveri, they became serious with this particular structure, which is called as the chromosome, and they realized the need to study about the chromosome. And during their study, they came into some conclusions that we will study now as the chromosomal theory of inheritance, which will put new light into these principles of inheritance and variation. So let's study about the chromosomal theory of inheritance. The chromosomal theory of inheritance, it was first postulated independently by Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in the year 1902. The second postulate is that the nucleus contains chromosomes, and therefore chromosome must carry the hereditary traits. That means it is said that the chromosomes, they are the physical basis of heredity, where they carry the characters from one generation into the other. Then the third postulate was that every chromosome or chromosome pair has a definite role in the development of an individual. So here they tried to point out to the alleles, or that we now call to be as the genes, that every chromosome or chromosomal pair has a definite role in the development of an individual. That means the genes, they carry the codes for carrying our characters from one generation into the other, and that only leads to the development of an individual, which is same as that of the parent. So that is one viewpoint that they have put, that every chromosome or chromosome pair has a definite role in the development of an individual, any kind of living organism it is. Then comes the fourth postulate, that both chromosome as well as genes occurs in pairs in the somatic or diploid cells. As I have said, that chromosomes only bears the genes, and chromosomes, they always occurs in pairs in a diploid cell. As for example, in case of a human cell, we write twice n is equal to 46. That means the diploid cells of a human cell, it bears 46 chromosome, and this 46 chromosome, they bears genes, and these genes that also occurs in pairs. So if the chromosome is paired, that means the genes, that is also paired. The fifth postulate is that the homologous chromosomes synapse during meiosis and then separate or segregate independently into different cells, which defines the segregation and independent assortment of hereditary material. So in this point, it is said that the homologous chromosome, that means these are the chromosomes that is present inside a diploid cell, which bears the same factors or genes that expresses a particular character. And these chromosomes, they comes to an individual from the father and the mother. That means these two chromosomes in the new individual, that is the contribution of both the father and the mother. And these two similar chromosomes, which expresses for a same character, this is called as the homologous chromosome. Homo, that means same, logos, that the gene, it is present in the same position, and they comes from both the parents. So they are contributed from both the parents. And this homologous chromosome, they synapse, that means they come closer to each other during the meiosis cell division. And as you know, that the meiosis cell division, it takes place in the reproductive cells during the time of gamete formation. So during that process, the genes, they segregate or divide, or they independently assort with each other. So that is say what this is what it is said in this particular point. In the sixth point, it is said that the gametes contain only one set of chromosome, that is haploid set, and only one of the two alleles or genes of a character. Every gamete, it possesses only a single set of the chromosome. As for example, in case of the human cell, the diploid set of chromosome that is present in the somatic cells, that is 46. But during the time of formation of gamete, this 46, they gets segregated by the cell division, which is called as meiosis, and every daughter cell, which is called as the gamete, it possesses the single set, and this single set, that is also called as the haploid set. During this whole process, only one of the two alleles from the parents that comes to a single gamete. Gamete formation, it can be numerous at a time. That means many gametes can form at a time. But in each of the gamete, only a single set will be present. So that is what it is said in this particular point. Now let's elaborate this point further, and this will help you to understand the crosses that was made by Mendel also. As you know, that in case of sexually reproducing organism, male gametes and female gametes are formed in the reproductive parts of the organism. And this male gametes and a female gamete, that is the sperm and the ovum, they fuses with each other in the act of fertilization. And during this act of fertilization, a resultant cell is formed, which is called as the zygote. So this zygote, it bears the chromosomes of both the parents, that means the male gamete and the female gamete. So that I think you have now found the relation of how the male gamete and the female gamete, they contributes together to form the homologous pair of chromosome in the new individual, where the first step is the formation of the zygote, and this zygote that will divide to form the embryo, and this embryo, it will form the new individual again. So we can say that these chromosomes, they are the bridge between one generation to the other, and they must carry all the hereditary materials through it. I hope that this point is clear to all of you. Then comes the next point, and it is that the chromosomes, it is of two types. One is the body chromosome, which is also called as the autosome, and the another one is called as the sex chromosome, and that is also called as allosome. Now there are two types of chromosome within a cell in that total set. As for example, in case of human being, of the 46, 44 will be body chromosome, where it possesses the genes to form the different parts or the different processes that takes place in our body. And the two chromosomes out of that 46, they will act as the sex chromosome. That means they will determine whether an individual that will be male or female. So this is another very important aspect of the chromosomes, that the chromosomes, they bears two types of genes. One is the genes that forms the body, or it helps in the development of the individual, and such type of chromosomes are called as the body chromosomes or the autosomes. And there will always be a single or a paired chromosome that is called as the sex chromosome, and that determines whether an individual will be male or female, and this is applicable for all the living organisms. So these are a few points that I have discussed for the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Now let's come to compare Mendelian factors and chromosomes. Now, as we have discussed about two different aspects of inheritance. First, we discussed about the Mendelian inheritance pattern, that Mendel, he tried to describe about the inheritance pattern with his sweet pea experiment, and later some other scientists, they came up with some other ideas, and now there is a concrete example that the chromosomes, they could be the bearers of heredity. So let's try to compare or find a relationship between these two, whether they are same or not. That is, whether the Mendelian factors that was pointed out by Mendel and the chromosomes, they are same or not. The relationship between the Mendelian factors and the chromosomes are: Mendel postulated that hereditary factors exist in pairs. The chromosomes also occurs in homologous pairs. That means in this case, both the Mendelian factors and chromosomes, these two are same. As Mendel, he has also written it in pairs, that is capital T, small t, capital R. So, these are the Mendelian factors or the alleles. So, that occurs in pairs, and similarly the chromosomes, now we know that also occurs in homologous pairs. And how it becomes homologous pairs? That is, that it is contributed from both the father and the mother in the gametes, and when these two gametes they fertilize with each other, so they becomes the homologous pairs again. So the individual possesses the homologous pairs of chromosome. Then comes Mendel postulated the segregation of the paired factors occur during gamete formation, and the paired homologous chromosomes separate in meiosis 1 so that each gamete receives one chromosome. In this point also, the Mendelian factors and the chromosomes, they show parallelism. That means they point to the same feature of the genetic factor for inheritance. As Mendel said that these factors or the alleles desegregated during the law of segregation in the monohybrid cross. That means capital T, small t from the hybrid, now that's segregated to different gametes. Capital T, it went to a different gamete, and small t, that also went to a different gamete. Similarly, the homologous chromosomes, that also separates during meiosis 1 during the time of formation of the gamete, and each of the gamete, it receives only one chromosome that expresses a particular character. Then comes the third point. Mendel held that paternal and maternal characters combined in the progeny. Similarly, chromosomes from two parents mix up in the zygote. So this point I think now is clear to all of you, as I have discussed this earlier, that the Mendel, he also related to the same thing that Mendel observed during his experiment, where the pollen grain, it carried one of the factors, and the ovum, there one of the factors was present. And when the male gamete and the female gamete, as you have already studied this chapters sexual reproduction also, as you know that the pollen grain that bears the male gamete, and within the ovule the female gamete is there. And when this male and a female gamete, they fuses with each other, that only gives rise to the new progeny by the formation of the zygote. So here also, in case of the chromosomes, that is the same thing, that chromosomes in the male and the female gamete, they mix up from two of the parents during the process of fertilization, and at that only gives rise to the zygote. Then comes the Mendelian factors are independent of other pairs in their distribution of gametes, and the chromosome of each pair also segregate independently of the chromosomes of other pairs. So there is always independent assortment for both the Mendelian factors and the chromosomes during the formation of gamete, where these Mendelian factors or the chromosomes, these homologous pairs, they segregate independently, and they goes to the different gametes during the time of formation of the gamete by the meiosis cell division. So with these 4 points, now we can see some parallelism in between the Mendelian factors and the chromosomes. So here we can conclude that these two terms, they are the same in their meaning, and they does the same kind of work, that is carrying the genetic characters from one generation to the other. So this is about the chromosomal theory of inheritance and the relationship between the Mendelian factors and the chromosomes. Now let's come to a very important term which is called as gene. What is a gene? Genes are short segments of DNA that carries coded informations for expression of a particular character. Genes are nothing. These genes are just a part of the DNA that can express a particular character with its coded form. As you know that the DNA, it is made up of nucleotides, and that will represent it with the help of the nucleotides, that is adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine, where adenine pairs with thymine and cytosine it pairs with guanine, and that forms a coded form, and this coded form that only carries the expressions for a particular character. So these genes, they are actually invisible, or they are chemical compounds, and these are only the functional units of the chromosomes. Chromosomes, they are actually the physical carrier. That means these genes, they go in the form of chromosome, but it is the genes that is functional in this whole part. So we can say here that the gene chromosomes bears the genes, and a gene or a group of gene can be responsible for the formation of a particular character in an individual. So these chromosomes, they are the highly packed DNA, and it is the only carrier of the genes in case of every living organism.